Mr. Beaumont. It is my pleasure to call on this year's valedictorian, Bailey Windsor.
Facilitators, Father Dean, family, friends, and fellow graduates. My name is Bailey Windsor, and I'm honored to be here today as your valedictorian. As I'm sure everyone here is expecting me to say this simple yet cliche phrase, I'll get it over with. Graduates of 2016, we made it. 3 long, sometimes painful years of education. 3 years of friendships and relationships. 3 years of high school. We have learned a lot in theory. We've lived a lot, and now we have a lot to look back on. We started from the bottom, and now the whole team is here. We survived as just fresh-faced young kids, barely out of junior high, barely prepared to navigate the labyrinth of a place we would spend so much time. We faced the senior-dominated hallways, slept our way through biology, studied the period before for many tests, and constantly bothered our teachers with questions that had nothing to do with curriculum. We learned how to do assignments 12 hours before they were due, and we learned how to write essays on books we never read. But most importantly, we successfully avoided administration when escaping during PDT to go for breakfast. We spent countless hours waiting for the school Wi-Fi to work, forgetting time and time again while on the phone with our parents that the school is practically a bunker. We learned how to keep friends, but we also experienced the loss of friends. We grew from dreamy children, unfamiliar with adulthood, to grounded individuals with a myriad of talents, hopefully ready to face the world. Our senior year was exactly as everyone had warned. It went incredibly fast, just as we were beginning to get used to high school. Like a roller coaster, we made our way slowly to the top, only to hurtle down at unexpectedly high speeds. Many of us screamed. Some of us threw up, and some of us rode the roller coaster with our hands in the air. But when this ride is done, we have to get off, whether you're afraid of roller coasters or not. Because after this is over, there are other rides waiting for us. For some, that means post-secondary. For others, that may mean joining the workforce or traveling the world. But we cannot let our fear of the unknown stop us from pushing to the front of whatever line we choose. When we were younger, we were afraid of the dark, the monsters under our bed, the boogeyman hiding in our closet. As we got older, we learned how to conquer those fears. We turned on the light and expelled the monsters from both our rooms and our minds. We grew up, but with the absence of our childhood fears, other fears were able to take root. As we entered our teenage years, we were suddenly afraid of not having friends or not fitting in. We were afraid of not making the basketball team or not getting the part we wanted in the play. We were horrified of going on a real first date. The reality of failure became extremely clear when we realized that if we didn't get just 50% in a class, we wouldn't get credits. And without credits, we wouldn't graduate. But what has also become clear is that we are all here, right now, today. And that is definitive proof that in some way or another, we have conquered at least some of our fears. But what about the fears we still have? What about the fear of not succeeding, of not reaching our dreams? What if we lose our jobs or we drop out of school? What if we really aren't ready to shoulder the pressing weight of the responsibility of adulthood? But what if we are? How Have we not spent the last few years preparing exactly for this? As we move on from this part in our lives, we have to understand that we no longer have the childhood security we once did. We have grown up, whether we wanted to or not. As much as we have grumbled about attending school for the past 12 years, it has been our home, and now we must leave our place here with our friends, our brothers and sisters, our family. No longer can we have the assurance of seeing our peers every day. No longer can we see our teachers every day, the ones who guided us, who we depended on. No longer can your parents call in for you when you're feeling sick. We have that responsibility now, to do as we please, to make ourselves into whatever we choose. We must remember that every person we look up to, every leader or master of one skill or another, started out as just an average person, like you and I. It was their ambition, their drive for greatness, their motivation for more than mediocre that drove them to the top. We are from Archbishop O'Leary, where the symbol for our identity is the Spartan. They don't call us Spartans because we back down and cave in when things get hard. They call us Spartans because we are a force to be reckoned with. We are warriors, determined, ready to raise our shields and swords and charge headfirst into the abyss of the future. We won't back down. We won't let our own fear of change nor our own insecurities stop us. And we will prove to everyone who doubted us that they were wrong. We are the class of 2016. Now that it is finally our day to graduate and begin our journey into the future, I would like to share with you a few words from Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Be brave and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Regardless of where we go, what forks in the road we may face, or the dead ends we will surely encounter, we can trust that God has a meaningful plan for us all. Although we are at an age where God does not have a strong presence in our lives, we can be assured that He is with us, guiding us and nurturing our spirits as we face the uncertainties and fear of what lies ahead. He has given us the tools necessary to take on all of the challenges that life may bring, to endure hardships, and to rejoice in the good times He has blessed us with. As we branch out to pursue our passions and take on the world, we must remember where we came from. We started at O'Leary knowing almost nothing, unsure of how our years here would unfold. But we will leave knowing who we are and stand unbending to the pressures of the world, just as we did in high school. But it is not the analysis of great literary works, nor the ability to solve difficult math problems that will aid in our success. Albert Einstein once said, "Education is what remains after one has forgotten everything he learned in school." In our years at O'Leary, we have not only been blessed with the opportunity to learn, but also to grow. And that is a gift that many children in different parts of the world are not given, so we cannot take our good fortune for granted, nor can we take for granted every day that God has given us. Unfortunately, not all of our class is here with us today. Sadly, in the beginning of our grade 10 year, we lost a beautiful girl, a fellow Spartan and a friend. Sophia Athena Siskakis, though she's not here with us physically, is here with us in spirit to remind us that life is precious and meant to be lived to the fullest. During my 3 years at O'Leary, I've met people that have changed my life irrevocably. But whether that change was for the better or for the worse, I am here now because of it. I'm the person I am today because of all of the trials. Personally, I try my very best to live my life without regrets. I always jump into things, always adventurous, sometimes reckless, craving experience in life, fearless. The only advice that I feel absolutely necessary to impart to you all today is this. Be fearless. Say yes. Don't think for a moment that you can't do something if you want to. The only thing stopping you from achieving everything you've ever wanted is yourself. Make that change, though it may be terrifying, and be a risk taker, because in reality, you have nothing to lose. A dreamer, Walt Disney once said, "The way to begin going is to quit talking and get doing." So, class of 2016, it's our time to get doing. So, what are we waiting for? Get in line. The ride of your life is waiting for you. Thank you.